Good afternoon, everybody who's watching, wherever you're watching from, whenever you're watching from. I am doing this Sunday afternoon. We got some NFL games going on right now. In the midst of basketball, in the midst of the NBA season is what it's called. So let's see what's going on. So today, according to Instagram, they want me to do a Bo Nix design, so we're going to make something with Bo Nix. I have no idea what this Bo Nix design is going to look like, but I figure that's what Pinterest is for. So we can figure out what we want to do from there. I do want to chit-chat too, once we get some people in here, if we get some people in here, to talk about some design stuff, what I think is working and not working, some trends I'm seeing. We'll talk about that while we figure out what to do with Bo Nix. But as usual, I went ahead and grabbed some photos already from the internet of Bo Nix, and I grabbed the Broncos logo because, we'll probably need that. I'm going to hide all this stuff. As usual, my image size I'm using here is 3000 by 3750 pixels at 300 pixels per inch. Now, I will say, pixels per inch doesn't really matter digitally. You will have more pixels per inch, but nothing on the web is using inches. This mainly applies to when you print it off. So I like designing at 300 pixels per inch just because if I'm going to print this off, I'm already at that resolution. So I don't need to fix anything with that. So that's what we got here. A couple things we might need to is, I'm going to pull up the Broncos hex code colors. So there's a good website that does that, teamcolorcodes.com. Let me turn on one other application. Let me pull up Keycaster so you guys can see what I'm typing. There we go. Oh, hey, Dean, what's good? How are things going at 2 circles? Oh, we can see this. So these are the color codes. So I usually just grab these hex codes because that's what we're using here. So I'm just gonna make a solid color. We're gonna make it orange. I'm gonna duplicate that and we're gonna make it the blue color. So they have the reflex blue. So they've got different blues. So these are the colors from before. These are the colors now. I usually grab these hex codes. So if you are new to design, hex codes are 6-digit codes that can make any color essentially digitally. And it makes red, green, and blue. First 2 are red, second 2 are green, and the last 2 are blue. So I know there's we'll pop it up because I've done this before. There's a website called Hexcodal, which is always fun to do. So our target is to get this blue color. And there's people who are like stupid good at this. But like the first 2 digits are red and then green and then blue. So this is pretty much blue, but then it has some muteness to it. So it's closer to like a medium gray that's a little bit lighter. And it goes 1 through 4 and then A through F. So let's do this real quick and then we'll talk about some other stuff. So I think this is going to be something with a lot of blue in it. Maybe not that much blue. I'm going to do CD. I'm going to put some stuff in front of it. So I want these two numbers to be like the same. So I'm going to do 6767 CD. Okay, so we guessed this color. So the color we guessed is too bright. So we need to lower the numbers because all zeros is black and all F's is white. So it's telling me what it is. I'm up and down. So I need to do like, let's do 5D, 5D, and then like AA. See what that does. Okay, so I got these 5 right, or these 3 right. So 5. Oh, I went up instead of down. So it's more like 5, 2, 5, D. Before A is 9, and then 6. Okay, everything's right except for the second number. So we'll do 5, 3. Oh, hold on, let me click here. 5, 3, 5, B, 9, 6. Oh shoot, we didn't get it. So it's 5, 4, 5. 5, 4, 5, D, 9, 6. So we hit that. Royal Marquee is what it's called. Score 57%. So it means it has a medium amount of red, a medium amount of green, and then a little bit more blue, which makes sense because it's sort of a medium tone with some blue in it. So we've got Bronco's primary colors. We've got Bronco's other colors. Let me just add a solid color of just white, just because. So these are things we're going to be working with. We've got colors we can work with. And the reason I put these in here is so I can just grab this hex code later. You can put them in a library or something like that. But then I have these lovely photos of Bo Nix. Now, it would be advantageous to use like these ones where he has a white jersey. So he's in the same jersey for each one, which might work. Usually when I'm designing something, I have sort of a, there's like a rule of 3s. So usually I have like 3 things. So I've got this middle image, this smaller image theoretically, and then this big image. So we do a big, little, littlest is usually how I go with design. So let's hop over to Pinterest and let's figure out how we want this to look. And that's the thing. I don't know how we want this to look. If you guys have an idea in chat on how you want this to look, or if you've seen something a team's done that you think is cool, we can sort of emulate and figure out how they did something that's also good. I saw this. It's funny. I think Ethan made this. I was making a graphic similar to this with Obi Toppin with like the same background. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Oh, I might have gotten in the background. But like I was doing like the same thing with these clouds in the front and like him jumping up. And I thought at some point I had this stuff in the back. But no, I did that for a Princeton graphic is what I did. What do we do? Let me see if I can find it. Not that it matters. I can't find it right away. But I know where they got the inspiration from this because someone made a cool... Oh, it's this graphic right here. Yeah, this Paul Skeens graphic. So like it had this in the back, guiding the eye, which is cool. So let's go back to home. Based on those images, we could do a lot of things. And a lot of it depends on, a lot of what we're going to do is going to depend on the style we want. Like if we did something like this is a lot of photo editing and smoothing stuff out in composition compared to, and like this is cool, using some gradient maps and stuff to give this sort of gritty texture. Lots of grain, lots of grit. And that's something a lot of people have been using in the last couple months is heavy on the grain, heavy on the grit, which is fun. I was trying to figure out what I think is going to cyclically come back. Let me just do this. Let's ask ChatGPT. I'm going to ask ChatGPT questions. I need you to act like a creative director and tell me what designed trends are current in January 2025. Is there anything that is cyclical that has come back into fashion? We'll see if ChatGPT gives us any ideas. Yeah, so like 90s stuff has been coming back, you know, grainy textures, Memphis style. Brutalism is definitely coming back. Um, I like brutalism stuff, sort of Dadaism too. Current trends, AI generated aesthetics pass, maximalism, motion integrated, yep. Gradients and metallics. Type trends, let's see what they think in here. Variable fonts is always trending. Condensed and bold typography, that's always been a thing. Hey Jack, how's it going? Condensed and bold stuff's always been in sports. Like, that's what we've pretty much done. Hand-drawn stuff is something I think needs to continue to be introduced. I know a lot of illustration and hand-drawn stuff has been coming in. It's just another skill set to add that people can do. Color trends. We could do something color trends-wise. Like, neon greens is always good. If we're doing the Seahawks, it'd be easier. Electric blues. We're working with specific blues. We could do an Adventure Time stylized Bo Nix. We could do, like, I don't know, it's like, is there anything Mario Brothers related with Bo Nix? Probably not. Wow, there's a lot of things in here. Yeah, like pixel art, retro gaming vibes. Look at that. That's exactly what we just said. Holographic effect of trading cards in the 90s. Listen, we can do a trading card. I have no problem doing that. I've done it before. Niches to watch, okay. Dark mode first design, that doesn't really apply. AI inspired art deco, that doesn't really apply. And AR, that doesn't apply at all. So, like this here. So like sort of techy stuff. And this is some stuff I've been looking at. Early stuff from the early 2000s. Really exploring that. Like stuff like this is really cool. Now this is 3D generated and stuff like that. But this sort of nostalgic, semi-transparent vibe is sort of how I've been trying to think of how can I do this. What's up, Graphic Dan? And the answer to that is like 3D generate stuff, which I don't want to do. But like, how can we implement this? Is this something we can figure out how to do in Photoshop? But how can we make this work with Bo Nix? Do we want to do it where he is something to do with the, you know, Rookie of the Year NFL? So like, what are the odds? It's Jaden Daniels, right? Yeah, it's Jaden Daniels, Brock. Bo Nix is third, so he's on the list. It's going to be Jaden Daniels. So I don't think we need to make a Rookie of the Year graphic. But what kind of stuff have you guys seen that you think might work is the question. I was really also trying to figure out how to do skeuomorphism stuff. Because that's something that died off that Apple used to do. But it's fun to do. It's sort of a fun style. And just like Winamp screens. How can we implement something like this into a design? And I don't know the exact answer to that. It would probably be something like this, where there's just like a frame that then has a photo in it, or some sort of like holographic thing. Now I do have an idea of something we could do too. We could do something with Bo Nix, who's number 10, right? Yeah, he's number 10. We could do something with Bo Nix where it's like a mirror effect where it's Bo Nix up here and then Peyton Manning below him. Sort of like what I was going to do if we did a Squid Game graphic was I was going to have, let me give it just a general brush. I was going to have, oops, it's not crop. I hate the crop button because I accidentally click it and it's like really boggy. See, I hit it again. So it's going to have person here doing something, and then down here I was gonna have like bloody pool because it's Squid Games, but in the reflection of that I was gonna have like person. Yeah, it's gonna do mirror effect where Peyton's down here, he's up here, so he's like Peyton Manning, but not really. Like if you're calling him Peyton Manning now, you don't know what's going on. Let me zoom this over here. I need to make sure my Bears are winning, which they are. It's halftime, so that's good. Okay, so I think first what I'm going to do, before we figure out what we're going to do, is I'm going to cut some of these photos out. So if you need to cut out a photo of something, this is my preferred method of doing so. There's no right or wrong way to do this. it just depends, I would say, if you're getting paid by the hour or if you need to do it quick. Because if you know me, you know that I hate the pen tool because it sucks. Oh, you sent something. Okay, what is this? What do we got here? Yeah. Yeah, it'd be similar to this, but just in style of there's something below that's reflecting. I know what I would do with water. I get obsessed with things. Like I got obsessed with like Puddle Maps for things. So I'm trying to think of what I used a Puddle Map on. I know what I did actually. I made a graphic for the Chicago Bears. I think it's this. It's probably not this. This is an old version. We'll see if this loads though. But it's easy to use Puddle Maps. So you just have to know what it is. You just have to figure out what's reflecting in the image. So if you just take your top image group together, flip it down, and then manipulate where things sort of touch in the horizon, you can make things look like they are reflecting. Or just paint your own. You don't even need a Puddle Map. You can just draw a blob and do it. It's reading this 2 GB file, which isn't even the right file. Let me hit cancel. This is going to be more accurate. I made this 3 years ago? Jeez. That's a while. So I'm going to load this up. We'll talk about Puddle Maps, then I'll show you how I would cut this out. And I do want the Broncos to win today, for what it's worth. Just so the Bengals don't make the playoffs, because that would be ideal in just a humorous Ohio way. Wow, it's taking a while. This is a 2.7 GB file. Shouldn't take this too long to do it, but it's probably because I'm streaming on my computer and it's ROMAT. And this is on my server. Let me click on that and see if that loads it up. There we go. So on here, down at the bottom, you see here, I have this sort of reflection in the ground, and it's just this puddle map, which basically the white is showing through and the black's not. So it's acting like it's rain on the street. So puddle maps are cool. I'm sure you can find some online that you can download. But basically, this is just like clouds. So, I mean, you wouldn't even need to do that. You can just do this. Like, I'm just going to make a new graphic. You can just go up to Filter, Render, and just do clouds. And it'll just generate it for you. Now, it's making it red and blue because those are my first two colors. You'd want to make this black and white. But then you can use this as a channel selection and make it a puddle map. But we're not going to do that. So, okay. So you want to cut something out. So there's the Bradley Jack design way of doing it, which is the right way, and then everything else. So the way I like to do it, so there's a bunch of different tools you can use. So I usually grab any of these tools here. We've got the object selection tool, quick select, and magic wand. The quick select tool we love so much that we even have a button for it, but I don't know where it is because I don't have my thing here to hit. Is it this one?
Quick select.
So I like using quick select because what that allows you to do is you just click around on the image and it's going to figure out where you're selecting. It's going to give you a general idea of what the image is. Now, I've been more recently just using the object selection tool because that does everything for you. You just hover over an object, click on it, it's going to select it. Does a good job of it. It skips a couple steps. As you can see, it didn't select like this part of his jersey, which is kind of stupid. So I'm going to hit Command D to get rid of that. And I'm going to use the select subject up here at the top because this is a very crisp photo. So if I go in here, I can go to select subject. I use this cloud. It's not quicker. It's just better detailed, which is what we want. I'm going to hover over. Oh no, I'm just going to click select subject. And that's theoretically going to make the exact same subject selection it did. Now I can always go back in here and grab a selection tool and add to it. You can always use multiple selection tools to select stuff. We can go up here if we want, make this smaller and deselect inside here, deselect inside here. And it does a good job of just guessing what it is. Now the reason I like using this is because this is faster than using that tool which we do not talk about. So I get this general selection. Then we go to select and mask. And then this is how I do everything. So in here, up here in the top right, I have this specific view mode. And you can cycle through these. I usually cycle between... I don't remember. Maybe V and K? Or no? I think I really just look at this one. But I cycle through these tools up here instead. But there are multiple viewing modes. I know some people cycle between black and white. So you can see this is what the selection actually is. So you see how crunchy it is over here. You can fix that. So I like to look at this mode and have this color be like this pink because nothing is that color in sports. I originally had it as red, but I didn't want to... what is it? I was cutting something out and it was red and I couldn't see what I was cutting out. I think it was a photo of Bryce Harper. Let me hit a couple buttons real quick. Because chat broke, but not really. Because I can see... There we go. I mean, listen, if you want to use the pen tool, use the pen tool. Yeah, select subject plus the lasso for the win. I like to just go in here because similar to the lasso, I can just use a brush. And basically this is anything that is not pink is going to be inside my selection. And when I'm working, and I tell this to the students I teach, is my fingers are above the option key, like all the time. Because it gives you another option for what you can do with the tool. So right now, I can add to my selection by clicking and dragging because this plus sign is selected. But if I hold down the option key and cycle it out, you can see that it switches to negative, which means I can remove. So I can just go along here. I can remove parts of this. And here's the thing. If you don't know where part of Bo Nix's arm is, no one else is going to know where part of Bo Nix's arm is. So you can just sort of slender up his arm. Now, one tool you can do instead of the brush is the Refined Edge tool. And you can just paint along and it'll guess where that line is. And this will allow it to have like his hair and stuff. And this actually doesn't look too bad, so I might keep that, but I don't want that part there. So we'll keep that. Go down here, and you can see like how crazy the bottom is because I'm hitting the bracket keys with my thumb on my mouse and then making it bigger and smaller. Holding down the space bar a bunch to drag around, so it's just sort of chaotic on that end. Now, some of this we might not need, but we're gonna just make it look pretty decent. And to me personally, I just sort of have this weird feeling when something doesn't look right on here, like on a face. Like I'll be like, something's bothering my eye when I look at this, and then I'll go in and fix that from there. So usually on these streams, I like to cut this stuff out beforehand, but I figured I'd do it on stream now. One thing you can do too on here is if you click and you hold down shift and click again, it makes a straight line. So if you're cutting out like a tree, not a tree, cutting out a tree. If you're cutting out a building, you can use that to cut out some edges. Or if you wanted like a straight line here, like I can click here, hold down shift and click, it's gonna make a nice straight line, which is really helpful. I'm going to just erase this towel because who cares? Don't need the towel. I'm actually cutting off part of his jersey too, but that's fine. We can always cut it back in. Kind of like that. Hold down shift, click, and paint through. You can always fake whatever you want because people aren't going to know. It's going to be your little Bob Ross, our little secret that it's there. But you mainly want to make sure these edges are somewhat smooth. Now over here, I have refinements. Let me zoom in on these. So these are the refinements I use. I usually do like a 1 smart radius pixel detection. I usually have my global refinement set to like 6 for smooth. It smooths jagged edges, which works really nice. If you're cutting out hair, I would have this lower. But I feather it. I play around with the contrast, but it's usually floating around 23 to 30. And then shift edge, I usually have at -3. Let me zoom back out. So that'll give me a nice smooth edge. It'll feather it a little bit because realistically, this doesn't have a crisp edge. Like his jersey's somewhat blurry. You know, objects, this isn't a flat object against you. If it's an object in 3D space, like it's going to sort of blend around the edge. It's going to be a little bit fuzzy to the eye. So that's just to make it a little bit more natural. So we'll cut out Bo Nix here. And I usually know where to look when I cut these things out. Like it did a really good job in here. There's just a couple spots here. And if I hit K, it'll show me black and white, where I can then go in here you know, I can go here and just paint it without even seeing what it's doing and just go, okay, I need to fix this area. And I know that's how a couple people work, is they really love that black and white view because it shows you an absolute clear idea of what your subject looks like. Now, this up here is always a mess because they're helmets. So I'm just going to go in here, and I am just going in, and if I want to paint on and add it, I click and drag. If I want to get rid of it and take it out of the selection, I just hold down the Option key when I do that. So I can quickly go back and forth and say remove, but then go ahead and add this part back in, add this part back in, add this part back in, get rid of that, go here. So I know a lot of people spent a lot of time cutting these out, and like, listen, if you're getting paid by the hour, you know, use the pen tool, take forever to trace along it. Hope you don't accidentally hit a button that breaks it so you have to start over. That's why I like using this here, because I can always remake this selection, because down here at the bottom it's going to output to a layer mask automatically. So it'll give me that layer mask selection and save it. So this is pretty good. Let me hit K so I can just see what this looks like. So this looks pretty solid all around. Looks good enough for me at least. So I'm going to hit T just so, or V just to look at this mode, and I'm just going to hit OK. So I'll output that to a layer mask automatically. Now there's a bunch of different ways we can fix it from here. I think, Dean, you're one of the guys who likes to use what's called a minimum to get rid of some edges. I'm going to go in here and just grab a brush and just fix this real here. This is from the smooth we did. So we smooth it here, smooth it here. Dean likes to use minimum, which I think I know how to use, and I think I don't like using it. Can you use minimum, Dean, on an image that has a layer mask, or does it have to be rasterized? Because I think that's where I always get confused. Because I like to go and make a group, make a selection, and then go in here and go to... It works on the mask? Okay. I like to go to modify and just see the old contract for 1 pixel and then make a group like this, which does what Dean is talking about in the minimum, but it does it for everything instead of just specific areas. The minimum, you can go in and say, I just want this area to sort of defringe, but this will work for now. So I'm going to save this. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. I do not care what it's called. I'm going to quit out of that, and I can right-click this and just replace the contents with that one we just did. Desktop, right here. It's the top one. So there. We have this photo of Bo Nix. And then we'll just save this as Bo Nix on my desktop. Great. Okay. So, and continue looking here. But that's how, that's how I'm going to cut all these other ones out. So let's do that real quick. So select subject, then I can just hit select and mask because it's going to select him pretty darn good. Look at that. I can honestly almost just hit OK, but not really because it completely messed up his helmet. So in my mind, there are different stages of the design process if you're making a composition. And usually it's when you're making anything, but it's sort of what is the goal, what is needed from the client if we're talking about real work. This is just for me. So our goal for this is just to make something with Bo Nix on it. Now, when we get this stuff cut out and go back to Pinterest, I'm going to come up with another task to have, another idea of, oh, we're going to make it look like this. And that's going to be our other goal. And the reason we're doing that is because regardless of how it looks after that, if we hit those 2 goals, boom, success in what we did. That's partially how I work around sort of creative blocks or not knowing where to start, is with a goal or a task. You know, maybe I want to use something chrome in this, you know. I'm using a pen. I'm using a mouse to brush these in. I do have a Wacom tablet. It's right here, and I use that pretty much only when I want to do lighting stuff. But I'm just accustomed to using this. I know there are people, you might be one of them, Dean, who are just only tablet people. Yeah, it's practice, I guess. It's just sort of like, I know I've been doing it with a mouse for a while. I did it with trackpad. Like throughout my whole 365 I did when I started. Because I was just on a laptop, I didn't have a designated desktop to work on. And I'm sure if I only used a tablet with a pen, I would get just as good at it. It's just all about practicing and knowing what you're good at. I'll relay it to the NBA. You know, there are utility players, and then there are people who score. Everybody has their own specific skills, and whatever works best for you in the situation is what you should use. So I'm going to grab R. Now, there's something we could do here. I always make a reference to it because it's fun. Tony, who works for the Magic, would just cut these out. He would just get rid of them. Because why? You don't need them. It's fine. But this is a good enough photo where we can do it. So I'm just going around the edge here, and most of this looks fine enough. Since I know I'm going to sort of contract the edge a little bit, like I could probably go in with the Refine Edge tool and cut this in a little bit. But if I do that and hit K, it looks fine actually. So I'll hit V, we'll go back here, cut this guy out like this. And if you can't tell what something is, that's where this K comes in handy if you hit that, to swap between black and white, just to make sure things look normal. Like his elbow looks a little crunchy over here. I'm just gonna smooth it out a little bit. It's all based on just sort of, it's just sort of vibes as to if it looks good or not. I don't know if I need to cut this out or not. I think I'm going to leave it because I think we're going to make this Bo Nix part small, so it's not going to matter. So get rid of this little corner here, add this corner back. Put this corner there, get rid of this. Helmet looks okay. Probably up here just a little bit we can shave off and then add it back in. And I'm using Control and Option and clicking and dragging with my mouse to make my brush smaller or harder and softer. Just what I've gotten used to, so I can easily make something huge, so I can make this nice, you know, round edge up here and then put it back to small very quickly without hammering the keys together. So we'll save this as Bo Nix Throw. We're going to save that to my desktop. I'm just going to put this into a group, select this, select Modify, Contract 1. And do that, and then hit save. Graphic Dan, you still use your trackpad for cutting out and stuff, but for lights and shadows, you mirror your laptop to your iPad. Yeah, that's smart, because then you can use a pencil, which is a little bit better. I think the reason that I like using it more is mainly the sensitivity. You can be more light-handed with it. So I'm going to turn Bo Nix up here. And I'm just sort of putting this fake composition together where you got big guy, little guy down here. And then, is there a spot for this? I think it would look good with 3, just because 3s always work out and look good. And if you're curious, these photos, this photo's 6,000 pixels big. How big is this photo? This one's 5,000 pixels big. What about this one? This one's 5,000 pixels big. Cool. Let me scroll up. Let's make sure I can see how my Chicago Bears are doing. Okay, so I'm going to hit W just to pull up Select Subject. We've got it on Cloud, and we're going to just quickly breeze through this. Select Subject. Select Subject. There we go. Selected Mask. I'm going to hit R to grab the Refine Edge brush. And what the Refine Edge brush does is it looks on the inside and outside of this cursor, and it basically says, okay, where's the contrast happening? You know, right here, it's where's the contrast between the darkness of his hand and the lightness of the background? Where's that happening? And it sort of pushes it together. It used to be a tool called the Extract tool in like 2006. I think is when they introduced it. I went to a Photoshop conference. My aunt took me to a Photoshop conference when I was in a junior in high school, I think, or even a sophomore. And it was cool because like there are a lot of people who are big Adobe evangelists who were there, who have been doing stuff with Adobe forever. I think the creator of Adobe was there, which is cool, or one of the guys. But that's when they introduced this, and like I was like, it's so funky, and it was so complicated to use at the time. Now in here, I can grab this Quick Select tool, and I can say, hey, get rid of this, and it's going to do a decent job for me. I found it doesn't work as well inside this tool as it does outside, but it is a good enough job where we can go in here and make some straight lines. And just get rid of stuff we don't want. And a lot of times I'll just draw straight lines, and then if you just draw cross sections across it, you'll get a nice hard angle. So you can still have some angles with this. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. Go here. Now the funny thing is, this is like the largest image, but it's got the most depth of field. So there's some foggy spots we might have to fix later. So I'm going to make a huge brush here to paint on the left edge of his helmet, because a very big circle is kind of flat on the edges. So I use that a lot when I'm designing. I'll just use a flat edge of a big brush like this and see what happens with that. Oops, oh, that's fine. I don't want to click that. So make this smaller. Click here, drag down. This all looks kind of okay. Like, it's kind of hard to tell what some of the stuff is, and if that's the case, then fine, leave it. No one, if you can't tell what it is and you're zoomed in on it, no one's going to be able to tell what it is in your image. They'll be able to tell certain things, but like, usually you can just fake the funk. Shoulder to me looks fine. I might go here just with a refine edge. Come down here. Arm looks okay. Let's just see what it looks like in black. See, it did a good job. So I'm just going to come in here with a regular brush. We're just going to remove some of this sort of hair on it. And then this tiny little spot in here. It usually has hard spots in the corner like that because we have this smooth turned on. If you turn that smooth off, it wouldn't exist. Let's back up and hopefully Photoshop doesn't break. So down here, this is bad. So we just hit the refine edge. Just going to get rid of that because it sees that that's the dark area against the jersey. Then I can hit OK. So I'll group this. The only reason I group this again is because I don't want to get rid of that initial layer. Sort of just non-destructively working and doing that. All right, so we're going to save this out to our desktop. Save back. We have 3 photos of Bo Nix now. They're all in here. We replaced the contents. We have that. I'm going to delete these other ones because we don't need them. I'm going to save. So now the question is, and let me hit a button real quick. Let me see what this does. Good. So I thought, give it a sec. Give it a sec. There we go. Okay, it's back. All right. Okay, so now what do we want to do with these images? Because I like to use a bunch of not default, but I have sort of default to me actions that I use when I want to edit something. And we might not do that. So if there's a specific style you want to do, let me know in chat of something you want. We could do something more photo manipulative like this with the stadium, or something to do with mountains because it's Denver. We could do something like this, which is more of, you know, sort of t-shirt grungy design. We could do almost anything. Now, last time we did this, we made, last stream I made a Wemby graphic, which looked like this, which we went into this sort of pixelated Rudiger Arrow sort of S thing, adjacent chrome chaotic thing. But if we want to make something a little bit more standard, we can make something a little bit more standard. So let me type in sports design. And I'll see if there's something in here I know I don't want to do based on things that are super trendy. I like to not do trendy things. If I see something trending, I might play around with it, but for the most part, I'm just going to avoid it and just do something completely different and just ignore it and be like, no, I don't want to do that. So like one thing I know that's trending a lot because of USC is scripty font, really sort of a legible scripty font with nice bold font. Now it's not illegible, it's just very contrasting. So like a lot of teams have been copying this where it's font with a big scripty font on front of it, which I'm going to avoid and I don't want to do. So we're not going to do that. I like this idea of adding in sort of this fourth dimension, sort of like here, breaking the fourth wall of designer to client to viewer. And some of this, none of this stuff makes any sense to anyone other than the designer, but people think it's funny. Like they don't know this is the curves tool. This is, what's that, color balance? And then color lookups. Like people don't understand that these are things. You and I might know what they are because we use them all the time. So let me figure out. Let's do something. ChatGPT told us to use brutalism, right? So this is what brutalism is. I want brutalism design. I don't want brutalism in architecture. Two different things. But like stuff like this. And you'll see stuff trending like this. Like I know Nick Arley did a lot of stuff like this. Black background, really grungy stuff. Still does. He's dove into that style, I think, very successfully. You know, there's always like the ransom lettering is a fun little gimmick to use for certain things. But to me, it's like you did it once. Someone did it. I'm going to stay away from it. Because I don't have the time. I wouldn't have the time today to do it. Because what you would theoretically want to do is go out and find all these individual letters. Like I've downloaded like a pack of like ransom letters from like stock websites. But if I've downloaded them, someone else has downloaded them. So the best thing to do would be to repurpose them from something that you've found yourself. I don't want Dadaism. I want Dadaism. So Dadaism is really chaotic. And we did a little bit of that in that Wemby design. Like things coming out, like cut out eyes and faces and nose and stuff like this. So it's sort of, could we do that? Or do we just make something clean? You guys let me know what you think I should do. Because I want to show you something. If you want to learn from something, I want to show you that. And I think Dadaism works best in more of a tactile sense. Like it works here. Like this is nice. With chess, this thing is kind of nice. Using different stock images. And that's the thing too, is I think cultivating images that would work is a big time suck in doing that. But doing something like this would be a little bit more manageable. I don't know if we have time. I don't know if I want to do that. Let's see what else we got going on in here. This is my Pinterest account, by the way. So it's all sports stuff pretty much and design stuff. I could do a cutout collage. Like I don't want to do, the funny is like cutout collage. We just cut out the guys. We just cut these guys out so nicely. We're just going to go in and immediately ruin it. But what is Bo Nix like? That's like a cheat code too. What does Bo Nix like? I want to look over here and see what this says. His Christian faith, accent protein. He's known for these things. But like cartoons. I want to see if there's something. Let's look at his Instagram profile. See how boring his Instagram profile is. Because I think that's one thing that's cool. Like, I know a lot of NBA players and NFL players like really love anime, and like college players. So like, if you know they like some sort of anime and you make it in that style, like they might like it and see it. This is all just a bunch of stuff. Oregon. Typical thing you would see. Got to shoot. No problem, Dean. Thanks for hopping into chat. If you guys don't know Dean, you should follow Dean. He's right here, Dean. Oh, you're not. Where you? Here? Oh, yeah, here you go. This is Dean. Go follow him. He does a lot of cool stuff for Two Circle Sports. And I get a lot of inspiration from him too. So let's look and see what he has on here. Maybe we can copy something. Is there anything we can do with this depth? I love me some depth. So is there anything that would make sense for this? We do like... I'm trying to think. What is in Denver? Like if we did something like NBA Street, like or NFL Street, is there anything in Denver specifically other than the Denver Airport horse that's terrifying? Can we add that horse to this? Can we put this somewhere and have this scary horse in here? Of this horrible looking Denver thing. Like what is in Denver? Denver elevation. And this is where you could use like ChatGPT and be like, hey ChatGPT, how's it going? give me a list of things Denver related. See what it comes up with. And, you know, you don't have to type anything in right because it'll be fine. And let's look at this actually. Let's go to Twitter. Let's hide my messages. Whoop. I want to go to the Denver Nuggets. I want to see what the Nuggets are doing because they do Mile High. I want to see what these teams are doing just to see if there's inspiration from that. A lot of these teams, though, which makes sense, and I think this is a good thing, is play into photo first graphics. So like the score is very basic. Photo, shape here, quarter, name, and then they've got this nice pattern basically based off of their logo, which works. They use this specific font really essentially for that. Let me search it. Let me go to the Broncos. And I know some people that work at the Broncos. Now they're full on retro mode, so like that would be something cool to do. I didn't find enough retro images of him in that jersey to work, which is why I didn't do this. But this is super retro, which it should be because that's cool. I think they did a really good job of making this retro looking, but I don't want retro. Here we go. So these some of these grids in the background, nice clean text. Now is this Pro Bowl related or Broncos related? I do like that little swoosh, and this is one thing I like to do too, is figure out what part of I could do it like the phase rebrand. We could go super glitchy with this. It's not a bad idea. I do like glitching things. How can we make it make sense? What does this sack graphic look like? Standard, some dots in it, kind of nice. Ghosted logo for some reason. Is that a ghosted logo? Yeah, why'd they ghost their own logo? Oh, I had this conversation with someone else the other day. They ghosted their own logo. Okay. So we have these images. We could do something like the phase rebrand. Phase rebrand. I know I saw some people. It was on Twitter. I spelled phase wrong. They don't know what I'm talking about. I saw a couple people like make some graphics that like actually looked decent. Like this isn't complicated to make. Composition, gradient maps. Someone made something that looked really nice though. I want to do top because I feel like it should have gotten some looks to it. Not this. I like how half of these clips is just XQC, like it's just all XQC roasting it and being like, this is awful. But someone made a pretty solid looking poster. But the rebrand is just like rainbows and glitches. So like, how can we apply that to Denver Broncos? Oh God, get this swastika off of my, no, we don't want to see that. Okay. Bitch. So if we did that, I want to figure out how to tie it back to Denver. This one, let's see, let me click on what you... This might have been the one I saw. Yes. So this is what someone made. And funny enough, it's got, you know, these fourth wall elements of Windows 95 in here. And this is kind of fun how they added names in here. So we can do something similar to this. Because I know how all of this was made. It's just sort of content. And if that's what we want to do. So let me take a look at these images. So this image I think would be good in the back. And this image of him running would be sort of smaller, like this. And this is a very simple, easy composition. And I've done this composition 80 times. Big, little, littlest. But I'm creating a visual hierarchy. When you look at this, you come in here, then you go here, then you go here. So it's how do we want to do this? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to lean into kind of what we did here with Wemby. Lean into this a little bit for this. It's just, how do we want to do that? So I'm going to edit these photos. So let's do that. So I'm going to edit these. I'm going to turn this into a smart object. And then what I usually do is I have just these actions I use. These are actions I've made, and they do the exact same thing every single time. So what I'm going to do first is find them again. There's one I've been using for Princeton that I liked, but I had a couple color changes to it, so I'm going to tweak that and get rid of it. But in one click, it just does this. So it goes from this to this. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to, for the most part, trendy things in design is you're going to basically add contrast to make it more interesting, add some clarity, sharpness to get a nice, crisp, clear image. Now I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to put these all together. I'm going to hop back into here. And I've downloaded recently the Nick collection. So I want to play around with one of these HDR effects. And I've been using these, except I want to do this at the base level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. The reason I'm duplicating this is because I want to make sure I'm doing this as non-destructively as possible. So I can always go back and fix this. So now if I go to my filter and go to the HDR filter, it'll look better because it doesn't have this white background. The white background is screwing it up a little bit. So this is something I haven't used that often. I just got this like Black Friday, started using it. But this is the Nick collection. So they've got stuff in here. So I can do like this deep HDR, sort of deeper HDR. There's some structured ones. I think these, if you use these structured ones, like if you want to just make a really cooked, like he's recruiting. This is a recruitment graphic now because this is how it looks. But it looks really bad. But I can go in here and I can fix stuff. I like some aspects of it. A lot of it I don't like. Let me look at my latest edits, because some of these I did recently might be good, but they aren't. Okay. So this looks fine, except I need the highlights to be white, not gray. So I'm going to bump the highlights up. I might increase the exposure a little bit so we can see some things. And add contrast. The blacks I need to be up. There's a lot of structure. Let me up the shadows. Saturation I don't really need to tweak, but we can. Depth is strong. Let me decrease the tone compression a little bit and then hit apply. So it's going to apply to this, and it should do it as a smart object or as a smart filter. It didn't because this wasn't a smart object. So this is before and after. Crazy amount. Shoot, you know, I don't want to do that though. I want to turn this to a smart object, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want this as a smart object. And I'll show you why. I want the latest edits, because I don't think this looks too bad. It's a little crunchy, a little crispy, but we can fix parts of it, and that's kind of what I want to play around with. It's not something I've done a lot of. But I know I can go into this HDR effect in Photoshop, and I can say, hey, make the opacity of this like 66. So it tones it down a little bit. So instead of this, it's this. It's a little bit better. So I'm going to save that. Since this is a smart object, I can go back here, save, and I can go back one more layer, save, go back one more layer. It's like Inception. There's layers on layers on layers on layers. And now I have this here. So this might look a little too intense because of some of these edits I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this unsharp mask. And I'm going to go into Camera Raw, and we're going to take a look at some things here. So what this what this action does, essentially, are these effects. And these are the default effects I do to every single image I edit. It just depends on what do we want to do after that. So maybe this is only -10 to brighten it up a little bit. Maybe the highlights we keep -10. The whites are 20. This kind of looks fine. What are the effects in here? Just a little bit. You know, a lot of people might bump the clarity up like a ton or the texture up a ton, but I just want to do a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and then hit OK. So it looks like this. Now I have some other stuff on here that tweaks the color, and then I basically take this top image and just duplicate it and set it to color, which kind of defeats the purpose of these, but you can see the slight difference with it. I have a selective color layer. This basically makes things more saturated for the reds and yellows. And then we'll go in here and we will edit. What if I turn this? What if I turn these off? I think I'm just actually going to get rid of these. I don't want them there. And these curves are basically making things a little bit lighter, because usually I've noticed when I make something that photos tend to be a little bit dark. I'm going to do some things that I know a lot of people do. It's kind of trendy. I'm not going to do it as much as a lot of people do, but like people really like to like whiten the crap out of eyeballs. Like if you go on YouTube and like just look at any sort of and there's some stuff in here we're going to fix. But if you look at the eyeballs on like, I don't know, any Mr. Beast YouTube. Like if you look at just any thumbnail on his account, like why does he have the whitest eyes in the world? And that's on like every single like trendy YouTube video. Like can you design YouTube thumbnails? It's like, yeah. Do you want me to just blow your eyes up? I like to do it a little bit. Like I'll make his eyes wider, but I'm not gonna make them like stupid white. And his eyes look weird, so I'm gonna make his pupils back and darker. But like that looks fine. Like this looks a little bit better. Now it might be too much actually, so I'll just change the lightness down a little bit. Like boom, that's better. There's one thing I wanted to try and fix, and it's because of these. It's partially because of this effect I do, but you see all these boxes? Like this is a JPEG I downloaded. So you see all these boxes? That's JPEG artifacting. So one thing you can do, I'm gonna hit save, is under filters, you can go to the neural filters, which are sort of the AI-based cool filters Adobe has. And one of them is called JPEG artifact removal. I'm gonna go to medium because this can take a while. Like it's gonna take 2 minutes to do. I'm just going to keep this hovered here on his eyeball. And what this is going to do is it's going to help fix all that blockiness and sort of blend it all back together. Hopefully this doesn't lose too much of the detail and blur it out, but it should make it look better. Now, theoretically, if you are working for a team and using a raw image, you wouldn't have this, and it would be fine. My brother is updating me on his fantasy football championship. He has Drake London, who apparently is doing really well, and Neighbors, so he's doing good. My Chicago Bears are winning. We just scored a touchdown. That is great. Everybody loves that.
The Bears. The Bears.
Love to see that. And 2 other players got hurt for the Packers, which is, I guess, not good. But you can see I set it to medium because this can take a while. And I've seen the best thing to do with this is I should probably do this before we do the edits in a different smart object. Because if I make any tweaks to this photo, it's going to basically try and redo this effect every time, which can be kind of annoying. We got an hour until kickoff, so that's cool. So let me think about, while this is doing it, what we can do. So I think we'll do something with some glitches and maybe some pixels and go from there. Maybe we do some default lighty stuff in there. I don't want to do like a lot of default stuff, but you can see how this sort of blended it in better than it looked before. What happens if I turn this unsharp mask on, but put it above the neural filter? Because if I hit this, it's going to turn it on, but then it's going to have to do the neural filter again. It's going to take 2 minutes. which is why this is cycling. Like, it's going to cycle like this for like 2 minutes because we were doing that. And there's some things I need to fix with this cutout anyway. I need to figure out why that happened there. See, I didn't want this to happen. So I'm going to hit Command 1 and Command Z, but it's not going to do anything. Usually if you hit Command period, it just cancels whatever you were doing. But that's not working. It's just broken and frozen now. Who scored? DJ Moore. Sweet. Good for us. Yeah, I think the best thing you can do, depending on what you want, I might have to quit out of this. This might have broken. And here's the problem. We saved this. Let me try something. This is a little cheat code I like to do. If Photoshop's not responding, I'll say quit and then cancel, and then quit again and then cancel. And sometimes this does something weird with like the RAM or something, and it fixes things. But here's the thing. If I quit out of this, it's gonna lose everything, all the edits we did. So I don't want that to happen. And that's the issue with neural filters, is because if you don't do it and you add something else, it's gonna break. So let me see if I can find this folder. Aha, we did it. Okay, we're good. Okay, I'm just gonna hit save, and we're just gonna go back to this, and these edits are saved, and we can hit save. Okay, we didn't lose anything. See, the trick worked. And I think this looks pretty good for this photo. So we're gonna do the same edits for everything else, and we're gonna fix some stuff in this after the fact. But let's edit all these photos. So I'm going to duplicate this, delete this. Oh, it's because I didn't do that. That's the main difference. Let's do that real quick, actually. Delete this filter mask. I need to go here. I need to go here. I need to do that. No, I didn't do anything because this is above it. And I need to hide this so there's not two of them. All right. Save that, quit out of it. Save this, quit out of it. Save the next one, quit out of it. It's going to have to redo the neural filters because it's updating the smart object, so it's going to take a little bit. So while it does that, let's look at some more stuff. So let's do something off of this. Let's not copy this, but let's copy this. I'm going to save this to my downloads. This is a compositionally, this is a really nice poster. Do I follow Max? I've seen some of his work before. Yeah, see, he went like all he got to work on making Face Clan stuff, which is funny. Man, there's a lot of different stuff here. Cool. All right. Let's go back to Photoshop. There's your tell-all if Photoshop's working or not. You're gonna go back to this. Enter space, enter space, enter space, enter space, enter space, enter space. Let's quit out some stuff. Let me quit out my messages. I don't need that. Probably don't need Discord open either, but we're gonna leave that open. But I think actually this is what we did. I'm just gonna quit out of Photoshop real quick. I'm just gonna quit out of it. It's fine. We'll just reopen that because we didn't do anything since then. So it doesn't matter at all. Are there any like memes with Bo Nix or something like that? Like, you know, you got Bo Nix or something. Can we do something where the word Nix? I think we'll just do something that looks nice. We'll start off with just good edits, good composition, and then go from there. Because good editing and good composition are always good. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's do what I wanted to do before. Delete this. Turn this into a smart object. I should be able to go to shoot. Can't. Well, that should work. I need to do it here though. And turn this to a smart object. Okay, now we're good. I should be able to just go to last filter, but we had to quit out of Photoshop. So I'm gonna go back to this HDR effect thing we did. It should have the last edit we did, which is this. Just sort of what we did with the other one. I just think the shadows need to be a little bit lighter. We'll just hit OK. But if we make it 66% anyway, it's not going to look as cooked. We have the ball again. Why do we have the ball again? So if you want to know how to get to here, you can click on this little button over here to the right side of any smart filter you have. You can change the opacity. You can change the mode. So I'm just going to change the opacity to 66. Save and go back. Save and go back to here. Now, and here's where I want to do these edits. So we'll do the same edits we did the other ones. We can hit play. I'm going to get rid of these like I did on the other one. So these are the edits. It's a little bright, but these are actually brightening things up. So I can probably just hide both of these. That doesn't look too bad. Just going to delete both of these. Selective color layer. Let me get rid of the unsharp mask because it's a little too much. And I guess we can whiten his eyes. So to whiten his eyes, I'm just going to steal the same effects and just toss them in here like this. Get rid of these. Hue and saturation. I'm going to do one more thing to all of these images too. And you can see this has that JPEG artifact or that JPEG artifacting. So I'm going to fix that here. So I'm going to go to filter, neural filters, and you don't see it as much here because we're not adding all the contrast like we are. We haven't added them yet, I should say. I'm going to set this to medium. This should take less time because it's a smaller image. And I would like to see the Packers Bears game. And I would like the play-by-play, please. Oh, they punted. Okay. Cool. How you guys doing today? You guys see anything cool recently in design? Sort of like Dan, you shared with the Max Envision's FaZe Clan graphic. The FaZe Clan branding is really weird. I haven't looked at like the full guide of it, but like, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think the logo's better. I don't think they needed to add the curvy stuff to it, but that's me. I also don't design logos a lot. So, okay, so we go here. We've got this back now. It fixed it a little bit, which you can't really tell, but we know it's there. I'm just going to whiten this up a little bit using a brush at 100%, and then we're going to brighten up his eyeballs a little bit as well. This might look a little bit unnatural. It also might look fine. Let's get rid of that. So we got two Bo Nix images that look pretty solid. Yeah, that was I think the weirdest part was it was a 9-minute screen recording from a phone. When it's like, could you not have done like, I don't know, a video, like some sort of, like you got to have someone on staff that can do some sort of motion. See, now this photo is smaller, so I think it's getting way too cooked on this. So I'm just gonna hit apply though, and we'll just change the opacity to be a lot less, not 66. We'll do like 50, and I think that might look better. Let's pull this over so I can see my Chicago Bears have an 80. Oh, there's 6 minutes left. Well, guy, we might beat the Packers. We haven't beaten the Packers in a long time. We haven't beaten the Packers to end the season in like 14,000 days. Is it 14,000 days? I mean, that's easy math. Oh, I did that. Days. I'm sorry, 38 calendar years? We haven't beaten the Packers in 40 years on the last day? Jeez. Alright, so we're going to change this to 50. Save that. hop back here. Just do this because we can. We're going to group this together. We're going to do our little editing. And there's one thing I want to change on all this. And what it is I want to get rid of all the green because I don't want that there. I'm actually going to go into the camera right here and fix just one thing here. I don't like how dark this is, so we're going to take the shadows and we're just going to bump that up a little bit more. And then take the blacks up. Just going to lighten the image up a little bit. And I should be able to still hit Command V to paste these guys in, which is the eyeball stuff. So we'll go in here. Like, look at this. Look at all this crap. This JPEG artifacting. We got to fix that. It looks so bad. But when you do all these effects to things, sometimes that can happen. Especially with all those HDR effects. Like, where's that getting cooked? Is that getting cooked just there? Why is this happening? What is... Man, it is just... Let me get rid of this unsharp mask. Does that help? What about this high pass? I like the high pass there, though, because it brightens things up. All right, so let's go in here. Let's do the neural filters. This should automatically do it and set it to medium. We'll see what happens with that. What just happened? I thought we were going to score. Did we just fumble the ball? No, we punted. Okay. I thought we were in their area. Must have been the punt. All right. See, this is like stuff I like to do before I start doing something because, you know, we've been live for an hour and we just have things cut out. We haven't done anything yet. That's why I like to do all this stuff up front. I probably should cut this out because it looks blue, but it's fine. But this is all important stuff to know, and, you know, I just want to hang out with you guys today on this Sunday and make something cool. So let me get rid of this. I don't know why that's there. Get rid of that. Save it, go back here. It's a little bit better. Save and go back to here. Okay, so now we have 3 really nicely edited images of Bo Nix on here. I'm going to quickly go into each of these, and I'm going to add an adjustment layer of hue and saturation. I'm going to select greens. I'm going to select the green color here and just desaturate the hell out of it, like that. And this is going to desaturate the greens a little bit. Yeah, Dan, you need to do more styles and not just stick with photo manipulation. Yeah. Especially because... Like, even for me, like, I can do photo manipulation stuff well enough for clients to like it. But, like, if you're not the best at it, if there's a freelancer that's better, why wouldn't they just go to them? Like, a lot of the times, you know, I know Design by Johnny gets a ton of work because he's, like, the best at what he does. Like, Jonathan Oxo's amazing at what he does with lighting and photo manipulation. So, like, let's just go to Johnny. Just have him do it. Because they're amazing at it. And in my opinion, photo manipulation is sort of something that a lot of people do because there are like tutorials on it, on how to do a photo manipulation with lighting. So everybody does it, and everybody has weird photo manipulations in their portfolio. And then it just looks like what everybody else does. Which is why I want to try and do something different with this. That's also like a fault of my own, is I'm always trying to reinvent the wheel with stuff instead of just like making stuff when I should just make something. It's more you've learned your craft to an extreme. Oh, okay, yeah. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. So like this is all very nice, very good, very important to have all this. So it's been an hour. We haven't done anything, which is fine. We can be here forever doing this today. Now we can figure out how we want this to be styled. So we have our main composition, the start of our composition, big, little, littlest. You know, does it look good on blue? Does it look good on orange? Well, it's better. I love orange, and personally, I love doing this with orange. And do this. I love me a gradient overlay, and I think I want to make this. No, I just want to give this a gradient overlay. Actually, that's a color overlay, but it's fine. I love me an overlaid 50% gradient overlay of black to white on top of a yellowish orangish color. It's my favorite thing in the world. Look at that. See how nice that looks? I literally have a poster on my wall with this exact same gradient in the background. Let me see if I can find it. What is this? Oh, that's something very bizarre. Yeah, right here. Oh, it's actually slightly different, but sort of this orange color of Peanut Tillman. Well, the Packers are coming back, and they're only down by 2 now, so that sounds about right. So this is the bones of what we're doing. So now it's really, what do we want to do? So usually when I'm trying to find inspiration for something, like I'll look at this and I'll say, I like what they did here with this text. How can I copy this sort of idea? And really it would be with like the name Nix and like the background, and then we tweak it and distort it. And how do we want to do that? Or like, do we want to do something where it has like all this tiny little things for no reason? Or like, is Bo Nix really into, you know, something Japanese? We can put Japanese text on it. I'm trying to think, does Bo Nix work really well from a standpoint of stacking his name? You know, it's only 5 letters, which is really nice, so we can do a lot with it. We can go super heavy with gradient maps. We can make it stussy looking. So usually the way I like to work is I set up this composition. So we have our composition set up. This right here looks really nice. I like the editing on this. And I like what we've got going on. It's just the bones. We need the meat of this graphic. What is this graphic going to look like? And I don't know what I want it to look like. And that's where the big time suck comes. So what do we want to do? Oh, this is Cal McCord. Get off my screen, Cal McCord. But it's the colors are nice. The colors are the same, which is cool. So I'm just gonna scroll on here and just be like, what do I want to do? And those are going to be the things, the tasks we have, the 2 little tasks we want to do and check mark it. We were going to do something glitchy and sort of, oh, thank you, Alex, for the update on fantasy football. My brother's supposed to win by 40 points. With no money on the line, his first year playing fantasy football, has no idea what he's doing. My brother helped him draft and helped him do his team. So there's also a league where my sister-in-law, the commissioner, let her draft a wide receiver named Lucky Jackson instead of Lamar Jackson, who got picked 2 before, and didn't pause the draft to change it, which is absurd. See, this is fun. This is a lot like what we did with this Wemby graphic. So it's sort of, I don't want to do the same thing. I hate doing like the same thing more than once. But I like how this looks. But there's a lot of stuff going on here. Oh, Beeble's crazy. Yeah, I've seen Beeble's art. Back before he did his NFTs, like, because he did one-a-days for like 7 years. I don't know, he does crazy stuff. See, I like this idea of, and this is sort of that Frutiger arrow of like, this is 100% Frutiger arrow right here. So it's got grass at the bottom, sky in the background, and then stuff going on, which we can do. I don't know if it would look good for what we want here, but is there something we can do to highlight something of Bo Nix? Like make this a very specific graphic. You know, did he set any records or something like that? Bo Nix records, NFL. Yeah, I think he set a lot of Broncos records. Most passing yards by a rookie in a season. Are these NFL records? No, because Andrew Luck exists. And then most touchdown passes. Obviously 14 is not the most by any sort of rookie. I want touchdowns, TDs. Yeah, Justin Herbert had 31. So, like, we can't highlight that. Okay. How can we get weird with this? Let's think on that. What can we do to make this weird? One thing I like to do, and I did this with Princeton because they don't use Navy, is I like to use a drop blues color adjustment. Those color lookup of drop blues gives a nice little aesthetic to it, but I don't want to do that. Have I ever had it where I spend time on a poster for too long to perfect something? It's my problem is I need to get off of it. Bit of a reason why I use the pen tool. Yeah, I get that. No. I get to the point where I go, this looks good enough, and then I stop. That's honestly where my head goes. I don't think this will work. This Y2K aesthetic. Now, we might be able to download some stuff. Let me go to Envato. Yeah, I want graphics. Yeah, like paper, like tape. No, I don't want to use that. It's overdone. I mean, to your point, Dan, it's been an hour and a half, and we have this. Now, we edited photos really nicely, cut them out, talked a lot about design already. Eat this. Should do something based on his nickname. Call him Ferris Bueller or Athletic Drew Brees or Maverick. See, we could we could really go Mavericky with it. I don't know if that's something that I want to do. You think you care too much about what other people like, but about following trends. Yeah, I mean, if you saw, and I think you were here last stream, like this Wemby graphic. I mean, look, those Wemby graphic looked like crap for like an hour. But I literally said, like, in this, like, I literally don't care if anybody likes this. This is what I wanted to make. I make stuff for me. That's the issue, is I'm trying to make something that I think is going to look cool, but I don't know what aesthetic to dive into with this. And that's where I'm being indecisive. Part of it is because I've been doing a decent amount of stuff, or I've been doing a couple little things in that style where we have, like this, where it's like inside of something. And I don't want to do that. Because it's like I've done it twice. I don't want to do it again. I want to do something else. I could turn him into a Pokemon card. That's kind of a cop-out, though. Let's do this. Let's figure out what features I haven't used a lot of in Photoshop and use them. Let's do a couple things. Oh, good. The Bears just fumbled the ball at midfield on first down, under 2 minutes. AKA the Packers are going to go kick a field goal and win. Which sounds about right. Got to keep that draft stock up. So what I'm doing here is I wanted to not have that hard edge at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to go in here and just sort of go whoop. There. Now it's nice and gentle. That looks better. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Alright, we got the logo here. We can put that somewhere. Put his name on here somewhere. Bo Nix. God, I don't know what to do. So this is where I'm having a sort of creative block, but it's just more stylistically. Like, what do I want to do with this? Do we want to add tweets to this? Do we want to do a tweet thing? Like, this is just nice. Just nice composition. You know, like a wolf, but his name's Dustin Wolf. You know, Bo Nix. There's Bo Jackson stuff you can do. You can say Bo Nose. Something with that. Maybe. Be nice if we could do something that said Bo Nose, but with the number 10. Nose. Can kind of do that here. Split up this N and make it a 1. So it says Bo Nose. Let's find some fonts. Let's do that. We're gonna make something based on what font we can find. We just do this over here. Already logged in? Okay, cool. Great. Thanks for doing everything for me, computer. Okay. Fonts. Let's just use pixels again. We're going to do something with pixels. I think that's what we're going to do. Let's do something with our jungle. We'll make it say Bo Nose. Right? Bo Nose, Bo Jackson. That's the thing. Bo Nose, right? Bo Nose. Yeah. Images. Bo Nose. Yeah, good. We're going to do that. If you haven't used Adobe Fonts, it's great. I can go in here and I'm going to type in funky. Let's look at some funky fonts. I don't think I want funky, though. I think I want... Yeah, it's not on here. I want something that's heavy, probably condensed. And these are the fonts I can use now. These are the funky fonts. Like, this would be fun to use for something, but not what I want. The Chiefs have lost this season. You're incorrect. They are 15-1. They've won the last 2 Super Bowls. It's likely they can win another Super Bowl. Do I want that to happen? Not necessarily. That's just coming from a Bears fan who could have drafted Patrick Mahomes, but it would have been a completely different scenario and he would have sucked because it's the Bears franchise. So what are we looking for here? I'm kind of looking for something pixelated. And I know there's some mono fonts that are already pixelated, and there might be something better on Envato to use. Let's go here. Pixel font. Pixel font. Oh yeah, they just kicked a 55-yard field goal with 54 seconds left, and we're losing by 1. Classic. These are all awful. I don't want any of these graphics. I want fonts. None of this I like. This is better. But still not good. All right, so let's look here. I kind of like some stuff with this font. I also don't want to use like a default font. But we've been fiddling around and thinking about this too often. So let's do this. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to do something similar to the Wemby graphic. Just because I have a slight idea now of what I want to do. Just took forever to do. So we're going to hide all this. We're going to hide that. We're going to blow up the sky like this. We're going to put this greenery in front of it, which is the greenery that I used for the Wemby graphic, but we didn't really use it that often. I'm going to duplicate a couple of these layers. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the Broncos down here like this, and then we're going to duplicate that. We're going to have this in the background as well, but we're going to flip it up like that, which is probably against brand guidelines to do something like this. Kind of like that, but I think I want this inside of this, so we're going to take this, group this, and go like that. How's that look? Not as good. Okay, we're just going to leave that by itself then. We're going to turn both of these into smart objects. No, we're not. We're going to take this and we're going to mosaic this so it is pixelated. "25 pixels. We're going to do the same thing to this. Do we want to do it to this as well, though? No. I just want this to be the inside. So now we have an actual landing spot for Bo Nix. So Bo Nix is actually in grass now. He's touching grass. So we're going to drop this down. We're going to make Bo Nix a little bit smaller here. Oh, it doesn't matter actually, because we're going to have Bo Nix floating here, but we're going to put Bo Nix on top of a starburst. So we're going to open up Adobe Illustrator. The Bears are shockingly moving down the field. It's going to depend on if Cairo Santos can make a field goal, it looks like. Graphic Dan, what sports do you watch? You don't watch the NFL. Are you a football person? All right, so we're just going to open up this. We can probably do this in Photoshop, but I'm going to do it in Illustrator because it's good to know more than one program. I'm going to grab the ellipse tool and just draw a circle. And I don't care what color it is. It's going to be black. And we did this on the Wemby graphic, but we're going to do it here too because it's fine. It's fine. I don't care. No, let's... What do I want to do here? No, let's make a star instead. Now the star tool they changed. You can add more of these starbursts after the fact and also stretch them out, which is really stupid because it used to be super hard to do this. You just copy and paste it. So we're going to paste this as a smart object, and then we can put it below Bo Nix like this. And then we can turn this into another smart object. And then we can flatten it a little bit better like we want. Kind of like, oh god, this. And tilt it like that. So now we have Bo Nix floating on top of this thing. Cool. What does this thing look like? I don't know. We're going to give it a gradient overlay. There are 15 seconds left in the Chicago Bears game, and I do not think we're going to win. Where are my colors at? I want this color. So we're going to go here. We're going to add... I could have just changed it to my foreground and background color. That would have made more sense. Let's have him standing on this. Let's make this just a little bit wider. And then you know what? We're going to pixelate this because we can. And we pixelated the other ones. 3rd and 11 at the 41-yard line. We have 14 seconds. We have to do a quick slant or something outside. I want this to be... Oh, this is fine. Honestly, what I can do is I can put him behind this. I think I might do that. I take this and put him behind this. Then I can get rid of this. So he's just behind it now. We just added a little bit of depth to this, which is always good. One thing we can actually do is we can grab this. We can make a new layer. Solid color of some darkness on top of it. And link that to this. Just move it up a little bit. Set it to multiply. And maybe blur it. But I want to blur this. Field goal. I think we just won. 51-yard field goal. Terrible day to be a Packers fan. Heck yes. All right, so I'm going to feather this like 15. It's just going to blur it a little bit. Just going to add a little bit of depth, which is cool and what I wanted. And delete this now, and we can add this guy back. I don't know when my brother just mentioned me in a comment. You know I'm streaming. Get away from here. Go to Instagram. Off camera, see what's happening. Oh, he wants to win something. Okay, cool. So this is what we got going on now. So I'm going to drop these down just a little bit. So we got Bo Nix. One thing I like to do a lot with graphics is take logos, take aspects of logos and see what I can do with them. So like I'm going to make a new smart object via copy with this. We're going to grab just the orange parts here and we're going to save that. So we're going to take this, we're going to set the fill to be 0, and then we're going to give it a stroke of 5 seems fine. We'll give it a color overlay of white. Just going to have a white outline of this now. But if I take that and put it below these guys, like this, it adds a little bit of something to this. Turn that to a smart object, and guess what? We can mosaic it and duplicate it a bunch of times. And then we can see it. And we'll just turn that into a smart object. Cool. Okay. What was I going to do here? I was going to put a frame around this. I don't know. Let's just keep continuing doing weird stuff. We'll just continue our sort of series of pixelated things. I think that works out. As we can make a little series of something. Then go here and then paint this back in so he's got this pixelated ball in his hand. But I'm going to go to square. That's not what I want. I want a square shadow. Where the square brushes at? Square. Hard square. Great. So this is just a hard square brush. I can make it the same sort of width as some of these, so we can basically pick and choose where the pixelation starts. Let's just pixelate his whole arm. Let's do that. Let's just, I don't know. His whole arm is pixelated. Maybe, I was gonna say maybe we pixelate both his arms. His arms are deadly weapons. Maybe we add that. Maybe we do some dumb shtick where his arms are deadly weapons. And we put like a disclaimer down here that says like deadly weapons blurred for your safety. Except so we just spell things correctly. Let's do that. We'll put a little warning in the corner. And this might look stupid, but we're going to do it. Because we can. Do whatever we want. I'm going to blur his arms out. Because his arms are weapons now. In this fake scenario we just invented and just made up. So if I didn't copy that mosaic right, I didn't hold down the Option key well enough. There we go. So we're going to add a bunch of caution signs to this. The whole shtick with this design now is, and we might delete a lot of the stuff in the back, now that we have this sort of idea, is deadly weapons. I also need to tweet Bear down because the Bears just beat the Packers. Like the first time that's happened in like 7 years. Yes, here we go. AJ Curry has it on here. The last time we won a road, the last time we beat the Packers was a little over 6 years ago. We haven't beat the Packers in 6 years. We haven't won a regular season finale against the Packers since before I was born. Amazing. All right, so Bo Nix's arms are now... They're weapons of mass something. What's the joke there? So it's a weapon of mass destruction. Could it be weapons of massive touchdowns or something like that? WMTs? What is this? Is that on his jersey? Oh, that is on his jersey. That's weird. I've never seen that before. Weapons of major touchdowns. What's a sticky thing we can do for that? Do that. All right, so we've got blurry arms. Good. Okay, blurry arms is what we want. So now we've got this idea. So let's go back here and let's just search weapons design graphic Photoshop. I don't want to type in the word graphic. I want to type Photoshop though. That might get us stuff I want. Gun design Photoshop. I think I'm going to search esports. What is that? COD design Photoshop. Yeah, I want to search for like COD stuff, but with like weapons. Spell weapons right though. Here we go. This is what I want. So I want this as inspiration now for what we can do. I need a gimmick though for weapons of mass destruction. Let's go to ChatGPT again. Give me a pun relating to Bo Nix that refers to his arms as weapons of mass destruction, but football related. I don't know. Close tabs out of there. Let's go here. Just started looking up something fun. Alright, tweak a little bit. Bo arms away. Is this just give me one? Give me 15 more. You can't just give me one. Oh, these are so bad. These are so bad. Ballistic missiles. Ballistic missile launchers blurred for your convenience, for your safety. I kind of know what I want to do now. Okay, good, good. We've done some stuff. We messed around with a bunch of things. Some of it's working, some of it's not. I know what we're gonna do now, though. Okay, solid color. We're gonna make this black. This is black. Anything that is this mosaic is also going to be a gradient map. which we kind of did. Wait, it's a what? What did I click on?
Gradient map.
Great. Okay, so we're going to take this gradient map. It's going to have the exact same as this. So we just need to make this color that. Do you want to do it inverted on purpose? Probably not, but maybe. See, kind of like that. But then this is going to be white. And this comes over here. I want to make this so you can still tell that they're his arms. And they're blurry. But I don't want it to be on his jersey as much. I just want it on his arms. Just fake the funk like that. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing to every single one of these. We're gonna delete this. Delete this filter mask, delete that, put that there. There we go. Oops, I did not want to delete that filter mask. I just wanted to copy it and apply it to here. Go back in and fix some parts of it, like this random spot I painted. Get rid of that. It's kind of okay on there. We'll probably make the rest of his body black and white so that really pops. But we'll cross that line when it happens. Delete, click here, boom. Okay, so let's go to adjustments again. Let's add another gradient map. We're gonna just make this. God, there's way too many gradient maps on here. Shoot, I need to make it the opposite of this. So it needs to be like that. I need it to be like really grungy. Now let's keep it here. Let's go back. To here. What we're gonna do? We're gonna do ballistic. It's the Cuba Missile Crisis. Ballistic missile launcher. We're gonna like, I don't know. Do we want to copy? No. Okay. I don't know. Where's our guides? Our guides are back. Good. We need our guides. Man, I don't know why. Chat just keeps breaking on here, but not here. So I might have to throw this over here so I can actually read what you're saying, which is even better. Okay. You watch soccer. Got it. ChatGPT is so annoying when it doesn't give you what you want. Yeah. I mean, it's a robot. What do you expect? Okay, we're here. We've got this. I need to go to. No, I know what I want. Can I do that in here? Okay, let's put up here. Ballistic. That's not how you spell that. This is all in here. Ballistic missile. Do I want to do crisis? It's like the Cuba Missile Crisis. I know what we're doing now. All right. We're cooking now. Esport schematic. We need a schematic. Esports schematic. Weapon. Yes. But no. Close. More like a blueprint. We're going to really blueprint this up. We're going to do something like this. But without all the wireframe stuff. Hit live here again. Pop this back. There we go. So we're going to add a bunch of like text and stuff about Bo Nix. It's going to be stat related and it's going to say ballistic missile launcher. Which is really stupid, but great. If it's dumb, that's awesome. Don't care. We're gonna use VCR font. We're gonna have VCR font. VCR. I don't know if I want to use that or not. It makes sense. I want this to be smaller. Okay, if this was a blueprint, this is actually what it would do. So we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go rectangle in the back. Send this to the very back. Don't want this to be blue too. Don't want this to be blue. Maybe we make it blue. I think that's a better idea. We make the fill 0. We make the strokes like 2. And then we get rid of this so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, great. We're gonna get rid of this. Now we're not doing anything anywhere related to what we did with the thing. Okay, so up here at the top, I think I could just do this. Is this gonna work? I don't remember if that works or not. Because it's a stroke. Yeah, it's only gonna do that. So I just need to go like this and just make this into a group. We'll just put this into a big old group and we'll put it below it so this is on top. Okay, good. All right. So we're in Paris, France. That is in a joke from Steve Martin. Why are you not changing the fill? I want the fill to be white. I don't want it to be white. I want it to be kind of blue. So let's add a color lookup down here. Crisp winter. Oof. Actually, I don't hate that. It's just not what I want. What I really need is a color balance, and I just need the highlights to be more blue. Which isn't changing the whites at all. So I don't need that. I need a selective color layer instead. Now I need to go to the whites. I need to add cyan. I need to take away yellow and make them darker. Which does absolutely nothing. Okay. Okay. I see what games we're going to play here. So I need to go in here and just go to this color picker. I need to go to blue. We'll select this blue color. We need to make it really, really bright. And really, really desaturated, but not all the way. It needs to look like that. Okay, good. So what color is that? Well, it's there automatically, so that's fine. So we'll go here, we'll go to this rectangle, select this color, select that. Great. Okay. So we want to grab this. We want this to be like up here like this. And then this is where our text can go. Our ballistic missile launcher. But our ballistic missile launcher needs to be the background color now, so it all matches. Let's go back here. Let's go esports. I'm gonna type esports so people don't think that I'm trying to look up guns. But this is kind of what I want. Weird things like that. Oh, let me go to archive.org. What if they have gun schematics on archive.org? Let me get the FBI in my house. Gun schematics. Schematic. So my wife doesn't mind that I'm Googling gun schematics. See, this is what I want. Desert Guy parts catalog. Let me actually look at this. Hold on. Top Gun arcade manual. If his nickname is Maverick, and this is giving me cool schematics, everything goes together. Everything makes sense. Yeah, give me a big old schematic like this. See, I need to have stuff down here at the bottom. So we're going to do that. So maybe like this. So maybe all the schematic diagram stuff goes at the bottom then. Let's put this up here just so I can see what this looks like. Don't give me errors. Don't buzz in my ear. Alright, so we're going to do that. So let's mimic that down below. Okay, so we really want this to be outlined and not full. And it's going to be in the bottom corner here. Maybe it's in the bottom left because we don't want to move Bo. So we put this here. Maybe we just... let me group some of this stuff together. We group this. Little Bo Peep is in the front. Mid bow. Big bow. Okay, so let's put Little Bo Peep, who lost his sheep, down here, which is good. He breaks the plane here, which isn't a problem. I don't think I'm against that. We got rid of that thing, so we need to put that bow back that I like hid and deleted. We'll have to do that again, but that's fine. Let's grab our schematic. Is there a grid we want to use for this? Filter, view, guide, new guide layout. So a new guide layout is what I like to use. We're going to do 4 columns and 5 rows. 5's too many. Or that's not enough. 10? 10's good. Man, did I like almost had it perfect. So we want this to be right here. Okay. Hide that. Put this somewhere else. Put this like up here. It's going to look better than what it looks like right now. Okay, so we want the ballistic missile launcher to be that same text here. Oh god. Click here, paste. Okay. And I could use a blueprint font instead for this, but I don't think I'm going to. Ballistic missile launcher. We're going to make this smaller so it fits perfectly like that. And you know what? We'll center it up in here so it's in the center. First off, thank you guys for hanging out today. Took us a while to get to this spot, but we're in a fun spot now. We're doing something weird. We've hit that good weird zone. Ballistic missile launcher. What is this? Design, draw, check, approve. What can we do? Oh, we can put stats down there. That would be cool, right? And we can mess up these lines later. I know what to do for that. So let's make them like 4. Let's put this back here. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So it says ballistic missile launcher. We'll grab the Broncos logo and we'll put this down here. And I kind of want to do this wrong. Which words are escaping me? I'm going to ghost this logo on purpose. So if you see this posted on Instagram, I am ghosting the logo on purpose. Deal with it. If they do it, I can do it. Okay, so we got the ballistic missile launcher. Contagious Toucan is an amazing name. You're wondering how you recommend getting more clients. Like me, I don't get much attention on IG, but I work with soccer players and haven't been able to expand a bit. I'm going to give you a kind of default but truthful answer that I know other people will say. A lot of it is, here's what I'll say. It comes down to the right people seeing your work at the right time and having a need to hire you. So the more you post work, the better, because you'll be more updated into the algorithm and people will see you. People will start to know who you are. Interact with people. What I did starting out, and it doesn't work as well now because they changed how things work, but I did what someone called the $1.80 method, where basically you give everybody your 2 cents on graphics. Go on Instagram, just comment on a bunch of graphics that you think are nice. If they don't have any comments on them, like, your comment's going to be first there. So when someone sees the graphic, they'll see your name then as well. But then people might start liking you, and it might just teach the algorithm that people know who you are and that they should show your graphics to other people. Graphic Dan, you're asking why do people hate ghost logos so much? It's because they're not right. They're not right logos. You see a lot of football clubs hate it when Premier League ghosts their logo. Yeah, it's because I'll use this photo of Bo Nix as an example. Like, here's Bo Nix. We'll just try to do a smart object for no reason. Or not. Convert to smart object. Okay, so pretend that this... Did I duplicate this or not? No, it's just right here. Okay. So pretend this is my logo. It looks like this. When you ghost a logo, what you essentially do is you invert it. So then it looks like this as the logo. So, for instance, in the Broncos logo, like these are shadows. Like these marks here are shadows on the logo, but they're lighter than the actual part, which is what happens when you invert something. The shadows are lighter than the part. So it's inverting it incorrectly. The correct way you would make this logo black and white, in my opinion, would be one, you would have to give it a stroke. Because you would take these light areas like this and make these white, and then you would make this all black. But if you take this and you put it on a black background like this, your logo looks like that. But that's what your logo should look like. It should look like this. It looks like the original Broncos logo. Now what you could do then with this is go to like objects, path, shoot. Hold on. Okay, like I could just take this, give this a stroke on the outside, and this isn't the right way that I would do this, but like give it a couple strokes on the outside and it would look like this. Like this would be like the correct Broncos logo. That's why if you see a lot of logos, they have like a white outline, and that white outline there is so they can do stuff like this. Now this is all messed up down here, but we're not going to worry about that. It's going to be completely fine. Let's see here. God, can't believe we haven't beat the Packers in 6 years. Some of their players got hurt, but still. Okay, so we're gonna put design, draw, check, approve. We got that. We're gonna fill this stuff with information. Where's all our information stuff? What is this? Let's duplicate this and just drag it down like that. I don't know what to put over here. We'll just put a signature there. I love putting signatures on things. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go to eBay. I'm going to search. Is this still being watched? Are you still trying to sell this? Who is this person? Weird. Bo Nix auto. So if you want to find an autograph of someone, just go on to eBay and just search for Bo Nix auto. What you're going to want to look for is National Treasures. Theoretically, because it's going to be the cleanest one on there, but I don't know what Bo Nix autos are out there because I don't know what product is even out. Yeah, this is Esteem. It's probably all college because they haven't done anything because they're so far behind. Some of these are fine though. I don't like his signature though. This is pretty nice. I think this signature looks pretty good. So we're gonna save this image to downloads, and then we're gonna go back here, and then we're gonna toss it in there. There you go. Whoop. my dog is staring at me. She's just been sleeping down here this whole time. She's probably sick and tired that I've been streaming for so long. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I want to do this like once, twice a week because I think it's helpful to talk about design stuff, talk about different methods on how to do stuff, showing you stuff that I think looks cool, stuff I try to avoid doing, stuff that people are doing really well, who's doing cool stuff in the community, who might need people in the future, job market stuff. We're gonna go like that, just give it a gradient map, turn it into a smart object and screen it. It's usually that's my nice cheaty way of doing it. So I'm gonna put this here, but I want something like this on top of it, or I want it to say, we're gonna put this down here just above it. gonna put this in a group together, and this is gonna be line work. Okay. That doesn't look perfect, but it looks good enough for me. Okay, ballistic missile launcher. I'm gonna copy this. What are good stats? Let's take a look at Bo Nix's stats. What are the main stats we care about for Bo Nix? Right there, these. Great. Career stats. Perfect. Right here. Yoink, yoink, yoink. It's gonna break if I paste it all like that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, what do we got? We got completion percentage, comp percentage. It's obviously way too big. This is fine. And if this is too small that anyone's gonna be able to read it, okay, who cares? We know it's there. It's gonna look cool. And right now we're all just about, does it look cool? I'm gonna copy this and do what I don't do often, which is just make a single part of it. So then we want yards, touchdowns, and interceptions. Do we want interceptions? Or do we want to do quarterback rating? I think we want to do quarterback rating. Let's do it so we don't highlight negativity. I think like a team would do that too. They'd be like, "Oh, we don't want to do. We don't want to talk about the. We want to do quarterback rating comp percentage. 65.1. Now the question is, do we put this in some sort of sign font so it looks like it's handwritten? I think we do. I think we do that. We do like -15. Get a little bit. Let's tilt it like this. Can I fit all of them in like this is the question. Yards, not a chance. 3, 4, 5, 4. Oh gosh, I hit a button. 3, 4, 5, 4. 3, 4, 5, 4. You know what? This is gonna change today. So I should probably wait to post this until after the game. But we're not going to do that. Maybe I'll post it. I'll post it once the game's over. That way it's just season stuff and everything's accurate. So we'll get the if I were the Broncos, I would have something ready to go before the game. That way we know what's going on. I'll make this just a little bit smaller. I really don't want to make this smaller. I would rather these all be the same exact font size, so I'm going to do that. 12.73. I would rather them all be the same size than have one be a different size. Just going to bump these up a little bit. I'm looking at touchdowns right now. QBR. I want these centered in these boxes. See, like that looks cool. We use this as inspiration. Ballistic missile launcher. Do you want to put like a line under here to sign? What would this sign off be on this? It would be like approval or something, right? Like someone would have to sign off on it. It's like a golf card. It's like a testing it. Approval, maybe? Something like that. I don't know what it would be. Would it be approval? I don't need this open anymore. It would just be, so these are checkoffs though, right here, that they comply. It says approve right there. Okay, so we'll just say approve. Great. We answered our question. Approve. And then I'll just put a little line down here because we can. Line work. There's a reason I'm putting everything in here. It'll make sense later. Let's put this little line like this. Oh, I don't like the line tool on here. Because you have a fill and then you can have like a stroke. But I just want it to be, if I would use a pen tool, probably would have made more sense, to be honest. So there's our approve line. Should probably put an X down here just for like giggles because that's how things work. Make it a little bit larger. It wouldn't be printed like that, would it? It's fine. We'll fake the funk. Okay, cool. So we have the ballistic missile launcher. I need a safety. Yeah. User warning FBI. We're going to just save this image to downloads. Because we're going to just steal that. Just how it is. Stop it. Invert. Just going to go like this and go like that. Copy it. And then set it to screen and put it in the top corner. Kind of like this. Okay. I need this down here. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. It's going to end up being the same. What if I set this to difference? Yeah, that's what I thought. Exclusion. And then duplicate it? No. If I set it to exclusion. We're going to set this to normal. What we're going to do is we're going to make this so the current layer is not showing any of the black. And if we do that, we can give it a color overlay. And the color overlay can be this orange color. And when I mean that orange color, I mean our background orange color. Wherever it went. Like that. Then we need this to be on top. There. So we had a little bit of color down here, a little bit of color contrast. Mighty good. Where is this FB, this warning? Where's this? I need this to be up here. Okay. See, Dan, it just took us like 2 hours to figure out that this is what we wanted to do. I know I have a sort of background I want to put on this. I just need to find it. So I'm going to open a bridge, which is going to take forever to figure out. Let me pop this open and see if I have anything important. No, I think we're good. Let me just go to my design server. This is Adobe Bridge. This is what I use to look at all my assets. I know I have a piece of grid paper in here that I love to use on stuff like this. This one? No. Here we go. I don't know why it gets so mad at me. I hope you're enjoying this royalty-free music I'm allowed to use. Boom. See? Oh, I want you to be inside of this. See? Easy peasy. Looks like that. I just need to blow the crap out of this. And go yoink. I need to get rid of that buzz. I could draw my own. That is always an option, but this is pretty much what I want. But I don't want it to be this color. I want it to be white. So I'm going to put this together, set this to screen. Kind of like an X-ray. Yes. Except we're going to give it a gradient map of, this is exactly what I want. I just want to reverse it. Can't see anything, and just drop this down like kind of like that. And I do want it to just be sort of a textural thing, so I'm going to set it to be that. Okay, this is exactly what I want. Okay, cool. Also, while I'm here, I can grab just some of these textures I have. I'm just going to throw these on top of everything. Because we now know what this is. This is a text based graphic. So we're just gonna blow up some of these textures, put them on top like that. Maybe we grab color dodge. I don't want color dodge. Did I set this to color dodge? Is that why it looks so messed up? No, it's set to screen. Okay. That's what I want. Just want the adjustments to be levels a little bit. And we're just gonna go yoink. Maybe like that. Okay, cool. Great. All right. So we've got the regulation warning here. So up here, we're gonna put a warning sign. See if there are any more warnings in this Top Gun book. It doesn't really seem like it. It's like 2 pages long. Is this the end? Yeah, it's just these like 3 pages. This is the arcade manual. That's funny. Okay, let's go back. And this is why I like looking at archive, because it has like warnings on stuff. Like, what is Gunfight by Midway? I just want warnings. I want cautions. Look at this. We can just do something with this. Crazy schematic. So the schematic is saying, so these lines and stuff, I think we're going to use. Because we can have them as schematics. And it sort of applies to this here. But it's something to do with his arms. Okay, let me go back here. We need to go back to mid-bow real quick. Hello, mid-bow. You're right here. Let's turn you to smart object. It's fine. Take this top one, hide it. Uh-oh. My current bit rate is slow. Not ideal. Let me quit out of bridge because that will help. Good. Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're just gonna go yoink. Oh god. We're using this god awful one up here. Okay, that's better. We'll just do that. We'll just move mid-bow. Just down a little bit. I need a caution symbol. What is a gun safety caution symbol? I really just want an exclamation mark inside of a triangle. That's really all I want. Triangle. Larger. Can I round these? I would like to round these edges, please. Ah, here we go. Round. Great, okay. So I'm going to type in this. I'm going to put a big old exclamation mark. That is... Shoot, all this stuff needs to be down here. And technically, this needs to be above all of this. Okay. Because I need this to be the same color. So it blends in the same. But it goes right here. Great. Okay. So we're going to take this. We go to VCR. I don't know why VCR doesn't pop up and work for me like that. VCR. Oh, it's just a really dumb looking exclamation mark. Take this, we're going to make it a little bit smaller, and we're going to give this a... No, let's do that instead. Okay, good. Delete this. This is going to have a stroke of this instead of a fill. The fill is nothing. The stroke is like 25. And we want the stroke to be in the inside. Kind of like that. Then this can go back to being the same color. Boop, boop. There. And we have our caution symbol. The caution symbol up here. And then we'll put underneath it dangerous objects blurred for your safety, or something like that. This is where we might use ChatGPT again to be like, hey, what should we make this? I like the idea of it saying dangerous objects blurred for your safety. Maybe make this a little bit, teeny bit smaller. If I make that smaller, I need to make this smaller. So we're gonna make this smaller like that. Okay. So we're gonna go like this. I really hope Bo Nix like goes crazy today because we're making this now. So I have like a reason to post this and be like, oh, look how great Bo Nix is. Warning. Do I want to put this up here or do I want to put this down here? It seems like a down here sort of thing. Maybe we put the Broncos logo up here. Maybe we just adjust where these guys are. We were going to put some schematics on here, or sort of like that. Make everyone a little teeny bit smaller. I found that just me, in general, something I think I do is I make things too large. I don't give them enough breathing room. So we have this warning up here, which is fine. I think I just need to put this warning down then. Actually, what I need to do is I need to get rid of the black on this, like that. Turn that, and then I need to give this a color overlay using the same color, which is this. There, now it all fits together the same. Great. Good, great, grand. I need to take this and this. That's a signature. Take this and this, and grab this and toss it in here. Because I need this all to be pretty much everything. So I need all of this to go in there too. Ooh, or do I? I think so. Oh, I don't need these in there. But I want these to be in here under line work. If I do that, that happens. Okay, why does that happen? That happens because of this. Okay, that's fine. I can put this in here by itself. And go like this and go like that. Except I need to save this and go back here and then take this and then delete this and then go like that. But it's going to be on the inside of that, so it's fine. So I need to go like this, go like this. Just draw a box because my... So snap to my guides. Then I can do that. Go like that. Okay, save. This is what I want. The line work. What I want to do here is I want to grunge this up a little bit. I know I can do that if I add a solid color below this. We're going to have to change the color of this completely. But we're going to put this into a thing together. We're going to go and do a... what is it called? Threshold. Which just right away really distorted a lot of it, which is good. So we're going to see if I can blur this. If I blur this 2 pixels. If I blur this 2 pixels, you can't read any of this at the bottom. 1.2. That looks good. So we come back here and it looks like this, but then we can just set it to screen and it looks solid. But we want to do something a little bit more. So if I crystallize this with 3, which is the lowest amount. See what this does. Yeah, it does that. Just kind of what I wanted to do. But I wanted to crystallize not as much. What if I set the crystallize opacity to like 50%? Boom. Crunchy looking text. Just what the doctor ordered. Then I can take this and go in here and just sort of delete this because we can. Yeah, I know I can't do that. I meant to do it here. You should have just known and just let me do what I want. And I just saved because I don't think I've saved in a while. So let's do that. So we've got this warning. We've got mid bow. We've got little Bo Peep down here. Make little Bo Peep a little bit larger. Okay, I think what I kind of want to do, shoot. But I need to do it in here, and I need to do it in here, and I can't see anything in here. But luckily I can just save this and it'll be fine. So I'm going to take... What is this rectangle? Whatever. We'll take this rectangle. We're going to put it over here. Gonna line things up. We're going to go like this. What happens if I do that? I get rid of this. Save over here. Add a box. Box. Okay. So if I hide these two, I can put Bo down here. Little Bo Peep. Lost his sheep. You can replace his team name instead of FFC regulation. Down here, change FCC regulation compliance to Denver Broncos. It's not a bad idea. We are going to hilariously invert this and screen it. And maybe not. Maybe we'll just use a regular good old gradient map. Just flip this around. I want this to be sort of schematic-y looking. What if we do this? What if we put guy here? I think I need to set him to screen. I think I need to fix something. That's kind of what I want, but not really. I need a Gaussian blurred for everything else, but I think I need to get rid of this gradient map. I think I need to just unblur his arms here. Or get rid of the gradient map here. Delete this mosaic filter and just make it like 1 or like 2. What does that look like? So what I can do is I can turn these guys on and have these guys really break out of this. And what we're going to do, this is going to be fun. We're going to put this into a group together. We're going to puppet warp him. Because I want his hand to go here instead of there. Great. So now we got a guy over here and a guy over there, and these are both going to interact with this rectangle. I just need to figure out where that rectangle is. So we're going to make a group. I'm going to go in here and just hit delete. This is what I want, but I can just unlink these, and we can put this down here. We can go down like this. Which is kind of what I want. Kind of looks bad though, because we need to put his arm on top. Let's go down here and we'll just put his arm back here. You can see there's a little area down here we might need to fix even. Can I do that in here? Is that this? Hello, sir. Can I mosaic your arm? Why, thank you, sir. Since this is a smart object, it's going to do it for both. Okay. Save down. And boom. Oh god. Oh, he's not covered up anymore. Duh. He's going to be covered up, but we'll just do it on his arm over here because we should, just for posterity. And we just click that. Boop. No, we can't. We talked about this, Brad. You can't do that. You have to paint it. Apparently didn't do that there, and we can fix that, put that there, down save. And since this is larger now, actually, because he's a little bit more blown up, we can make this like 25. Perfect. It's just what I've always wanted. It's perfectly right. It's just what I always wanted, a Christmas delight. Look at this. Look at this big spot I missed. See that? It's embarrassing. Anyone know how Bo Nix is doing right now? Is he doing the job? Is he doing his job correctly and beating the Chiefs? I'm gonna guess no. Unless the Chiefs are resting starters. I don't think they are. I don't think they have a reason to. Let's just go up here, go like this. We'll go Espen. Oh good, the Buccaneers won. Oh, and the Titans clinched. The Patriots won. That means we have to go like this, and we have to go to Hinkathon.com. What do we got? NFL. Oh shoot, the Cleveland is number 2 pick now. We're the Bears. The Bears won. We're down to 10. That's fine. I don't think it's gonna matter. The Giants need to not win because they're like trying to get the number 1 pick. But I want NFL scores. Oh, the Broncos are winning? See, look at this. Bo Nix has 2 touchdowns. He's 9 for 9. Look at that. It's playing right into what we want. We're doing just exactly what I want to happen. Except I accidentally saved and quit out of this graphic. So let me just open it back up again real quick. There we go. Okay, dangerous objects are blurred for your safety. I think I want to delete this, and I want this just to be right at the bottom of the ballistic missile crisis, kind of like that. Make him a little bit bigger, kind of like that. This is what I'm feeling. Then down here, we put schematics of is this on top? That's fine. I need the second one down here. I need to just delete. Man. Invert, delete, delete, there. So this is the schematic for him. So I need to go down here and basically go here, go here. Okay, so we're gonna add schematic things. And what that is going to entail is circles and numbers. Circle. I need to make sure these are all the same. Oh, I'm gonna have to change all of these stats after the game. Yeah, I'm not gonna post this till the game's over. Probably not gonna finish this till the game's over anyway. 3 more quarters. My wife probably wants me to finish this in 3 quarters though, since we've been here for a while. But that's fine. So we've got 1. Okay, that's too large. Just gonna make this 10. That looks pretty decent. I think this needs to be a teeny bit smaller. Okay, so we've got 1. I'm gonna put these in like random spots. And these schematics aren't going to have any sort of bearing on anything at all. They're just gonna be here and exist. Okay, so we're gonna grab the pen tool. This is what I would use the pen tool for. Drawing lines. This is what the pen tool is meant to be used for. Stop drawing with the pen tool. I hit escape the first time. Darn it. How do you duplicate and move around right away? So the way I duplicate things, if you hold down the Option key and click and drag, it'll duplicate whatever that object is and move it wherever you want. So if I move it up here, I keep holding down the Option key, it just keeps making duplicates of it. So instead of like copy and pasting or hitting Command J to copy and paste it, you can do that. That's my preferred way of doing things. It's helpful because it works in Illustrator as well. So if you use Adobe Illustrator, it's the same exact thing. These schematics have nothing to do with anything. They're literally just here. Do we need another one? I think we need another one. Also, these fonts, I want them to be the same size and fit in nicely. No problem. It's one of like the best things to learn is little things like that. It's like a thing that just I naturally have my finger on the Option key all the time, and that's one of the reasons. Okay, we got a schematic that way, so we've got our schematic lines, which is what we want. Just gonna add a little bit more stuff down here, kind of like that, and we'll have to put something down here. Maybe we put missile schematic or something like that. I'm using the word schematic a lot. What would this scale be? Oh. How big is this? Bo Nix height. 6'2". That's 74 inches divided by 4.52. 16:1. Ratio 16:1. Oh gosh, I hit some buttons I didn't want to hit. Ratio, scale 16:1. That's technically what his scale is. And then we'll put up here Bo Nix. I think this is going to be covered up. Yeah, it's going to be covered up with that. So instead, we'll copy this. Is that covered up there? Yeah, that's covered up too. Let's type in Bo Nix. Bo Nix scale 16:1. And that should be technically his scale because he's like 4.2 inches tall in this technically. We've got Bo Nix scale. There's still some stuff we can add to this, and it might be the list of what these things are. But let's go back to our arcade manuals. See, it's like this. We need to add arrows. Let me save this image to download, see if I can blow this up. See, there are arrows on the end, which is what I need. Can I do that easily in here? I don't think I can. In some of these, it has options for the cap to be like an arrow, but not in this. Okay, so to make an arrow, just gonna grab a circle apparently. We're gonna grab a triangle. Oh gosh, I don't want a skinny triangle. Or I want a skinny triangle, I don't want that. So I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna grab the pen tool, we're just gonna manipulate this a little bit, grab the convert point tool to go like that. Then we can fill it, get rid of this stroke, just scale it down a little bit, and now we have our little arrow that we want to go on the end of all of these. We just need to add them. These should all end up being like the same size. Come on. See, sometimes when you do that drag trick, it doesn't like you. this here, drag this here, go like this. My dog has returned with a treat that I probably need to break for her. She will not eat it because that is how my dog works. Schematics. All right. We love ourselves a good schematic today. The word of the day is schematic. Let me tweet that. It's a really bad tweet, but we're going to tweet it. The word of the day is schematic. That's great. Cool. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Boom, there's arrows now. Almost nothing changed with it, except there are arrows. Okay. So this is a good little spot we're at. Now we can just sort of go ham with this. And then we change this stuff later. This down here, I want to add a little bit. I think I want to add... See, he gets threshold to hell. Thank you for this looking beautiful. I think I want to give a stroke to him here. I think he just needs that outline so you can tell what's going on down here. I think 5 might be too much. I might want to make it like 3. I do want that. That does look nice. Okay. Updated smart objects. Okay. Good. This is what we want. Let me just put a little box down here for this. So it's like that maybe. His arm here. I don't care if his arm is on top of it. I want it to be super on top of it or not even close. So I'm going to put his arm here. And then drag this in front. Look at that. You'll never know. See? You'll never know his arm's not supposed to look like that. Okay, I'm looking to see like where spots to change things are. So we want to change this, right? We said we want to change the compliance. The issue with changing the compliance is it's not going to be the same font. So I think I'm just going to leave it there. I get why we would want to do that, though. Okay, we need to add something here and here, and then like at the top, kind of. And then I think we'll be cruising. So let's go to Safari again. Let's go to Pinterest and just look around at some things. Could do scales. I already looked at that. You know, heights and scales and stuff like that. Maybe that would be good to add. Height and weight, maybe. Or like little things that are scribbled on top. Like make notes. Like just scribbled on here that it says like Maverick or something like that. Oops. Yeah, I thought he needed to be a couple notches down. I think I want him to be below. No. Squeezy. Okay. So I need to just go like this. And go like this. And just hit this button. Alright, I think that's better. Okay. Let's delete some stuff we don't need in here. What is this? This can actually go in here. Just turn this. I turn it off. Oh no, I need this turned on, don't I? Yeah, I need that turned on, or it doesn't do the threshold properly. So I need that on there. So I need this here, and I just need to put this in the background. Just gonna blow this up like this. And then cut it out of it.
I don't know who Jay Cutler is.
Hey, thanks for subscribing, Kevin. That almost never procs, ever. And it's fun when it does. I don't even know who Jay Cutler is. I just saved again. I actually have a save as button that does this.
Save as.
I just don't have it up on my iPad. I used to have my iPad up here. Yeah, that's fine. Might want to make that a stroke. It might be taking up too much attention. It's not too bad, but I do want to make it a stroke. Stroke. 3's fine. You can just make this fill 0. And that'll just sort of cheese it. I set the logo to overlay instead of normal. I think this looks fine how it is. It's kind of what I want. Just this sort of effect. This is all looking pretty good. Something here is really what I'm wanting. So let's do this. Let's type in Bo.
I don't know who Jay Cutler
Nix.
is.
See, thank you for the subscription as well. I feel like honestly, like doing streams, I've only had that proc like 6 times. Usually people just like and subscribe afterwards. But I don't know when people are finding this stuff, so I appreciate it. We'll just do some default sort of text here. Except, so the funny thing with these monospace fonts, everything's the same width because they're monospace, but I don't want that for these spaces because the spaces are always huge. So I just want this to say Bo Nix. But I want it to say Bo Nix here. So I want it to say Bo Nix, and then I want it to continue down here. Kind of. Maybe. This is me hitting like some like stereotypical buttons like, oh, repeating text for no reason. It's just on here because it fills in space. But whatever. Except I want this to be this orange color because I think we need a little bit of contrast. So we go like this, go like that. We need a little bit of contrast. So I think what I can do I can do this. Great. And then I can set this to normal. Good. I can give this a solid color of this. And then attach it to that. So now it's that same bluish color I had before, which is what I want. But what I can also do, I can grab this guy, put this down here, gradient overlay, hit Command I, and I can paint in wherever I want to have some pops of color. Because I think it needs some pops of color. So we will make all of this have a slight pop of orange. Kind of like that. But is the gradient overlay messing that up? I think this needs to be... It's really weird. Because it shouldn't be... Oh, is it because of that? What if I do this and just go like that? No, that doesn't work. What if I delete the layer mask? Why is that happening? Let me do this. Just hit delete. Go over and hit delete. There. Okay, so we want to take this away. We want Bo Nix scale to not say that because we want it to show up. Then we kind of want these. This is a fun trick. Let me see if I can do this. New smart object via copy. Delete this. I'm going to go in here. I only want... Oh no, I can just remove Bo and save it. Oh, and I can go back and change the other one. Okay, cool. This is going to hopefully work. Save this, save this. Lots of smart objects. So now they're on top. So now you can see them better. But we need to go into this original one. And then get rid of all of these schematic-y looking things. Get rid of all of these. I think it's all these shapes. Is that everything? Is that what I wanted? I have no idea what I just turned off, actually. Turned off everything I wanted, except for... these. I need that turned back on. Yeah, that. Okay, cool. So now I can have him looking the way I want. So now it looks like that. So now we have some contrast to this. And maybe we want some contrast to his jersey a little bit more, but I think this is fine. Do I want... the question I'm thinking though, do I want him to just look normal now though? And not so chunky. I don't really want to stress about it. I think it's fine. I think this all looks nice, but it's this right here I'm questioning. So I think what I want to do is I actually want to just take... I want to grab little Bo here and just not have him in this. I think it'll just look better if he's normal. Did the Broncos score again? Yes, they did. The Broncos scored again. Bo Nix is 17 of 17 with 3 touchdowns. He's literally perfect today. 0 sacks. Absolutely absurd. Okay, so then I should be able to paste this in place right here. See, I think this looks better. Just need to put him in the right spot. I think this looks a lot better. I just need to go in and turn these bad boys back on. And turn this mosaic back up to, what, like 20? That's too much. 15. And then I need to add a filter mask. Invert the filter mask. And then only put it on his arms. Then we can come up with a clever caption using ChatGPT 2. The ballistic missile launcher was in full force, blah 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 blah, today against the Chiefs. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to add that filter here. Swing like this, and hit delete, and then invert, and then boom, good. And just fix a couple of these spots. Why are you the way you are? Do what I want. Why? Oh, because it's the gradient map. What is happening? There. I was just like, why is this just not listening at all? Okay, we'll go here and do the same thing. Oh, and the little stroke around him looks nice too. Let me just add that to be like 4. And then what I can do is I can actually grab this, select modify smooth, smooth at 10. then we can go like that. Ooh, I don't like the stroke around. Hold on. Can I add a... So I like the stroke, but I don't like it on his arms. So we're going to go in here and delete this layer mask, and we're just going to mask out his arms without the stroke, like this. And then the layer below it has the stroke, so those will remain the same. But then he still has the stroke down here, like that. Cool. All right, what do we think? We liking this? I think we're in a really good spot. I think what we can do now is just throw a whole bunch of crap up here on top. Like a, not a photo filter, like a color lookup. Okay. See what a couple of these look like. Nope. That looks awful. That doesn't look too bad. Set that to 5. Let me go to the drop blues scenario. But set it to like 5. Desaturate the blues a little bit. Set another color lookup because who cares? Film stock. Oh, don't like that. Okay, let's make a new layer. We're gonna bind everything together. And there should be under the Nick collection, I forget which one it is. There's some analog effects we can do. So we'll do some analog effects in here. They've got like default ones in here that might work. It's like this is subtle blur, which I can't see anything. But we're gonna hit OK. I'm just gonna hit OK and see what happens here. Then we're gonna set this to lighten. And set it to 50% or 25%, but we only want it to apply to the upper parts. We'll set it to 50, 25, 50, 33%. Okay, sure, why not? We'll make another layer, put it on top, smash this all together, filter, camera raw filter. Decrease the contrast a little bit. If we do that, we're gonna go to effects, and we wanna a little bit of dehazing. Just gonna sort of fade it. Actually, no, do we want to dehaze? I think we want to dehaze. Add a little bit of texture. Color grading is where we can get cool with some of this stuff. So we want the color grading to be really cold because it's like a piece of paper. Shadows aren't going to matter that much, but what the shadows are going to do is it's going to destroy some of that paper. I think that looks pretty nice. And then the highlights can add some more of that blue too, but really subtly add some blue to that. I think that'll look good. Calibration, we can make this a little bit more of their orange. The red primary, we don't need to tweak really at all. And then the blue, do sort of that. Is it okay there? See what this looks like. What does this look like when I'm not staring directly into a light? I think this looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? You think we need to add anything else to this? It looks pretty solid. I think it'd be cool if we put it like mocked it up on something, like on a piece of paper. Probably would make sense if we wrote the word Denver Broncos on here. We were gonna put Bo Nose somewhere though, weren't we? Let's make this say Bo Nose. This is just ominous. Bo knows. Bo knows. Great. Just trying to think if there's one last thing we want to do. I think that's it. I think we're good. I'm gonna delete some of this stuff. Alright, so the final graphic is gonna look like this, but with updated stats. I just need this to do its thing. Set this to 50, lighten, and drag this to like there. And make new filter like that, and it'll look like this. So this is what the graphic's gonna look like. Pretty cool. Bo Nix scale, 16:1. dangerous objects blurred for your safety, so they're blurred like this. Bo knows. I'm gonna change this stuff down here, and then we'll be good to go. So hey, pretty successful. We hit 3 hours right now. I think 3 hours is pretty good. Thank you guys for joining me today. We're gonna do this again later this week. If you guys want me to critique stuff, we can do that. I want to add some critiques to these. I want to chat about, gun safety. I want to chat about like cool stuff that I've seen on Twitter or Instagram. I'm trying to put together on here. Good. Pro sports teams. So I'm trying to put together like here are all of the teams' stuff. So who's doing what, who's doing stuff well, stuff like that. Things I think could be improved for professional sports teams. I have to wait to add more people to this because I've added too many today, but we'll talk about that later. But thank you guys for joining me. This was an interesting stream. We ended up here. We took a journey, but it worked out. So if you guys like this kind of content, hopefully you can join me later live during the week. I have no idea what actual time that'll be, but I'll let you guys know on Twitter. But if you like this content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you aren't already, take a look at my Instagram, Twitter, and my website if you want to see some work I've done. I'm going to go eat some dinner now, so I'll catch you guys later. And I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the afternoon. And hopefully Bo Nix can continue dominating. I guess it makes sense. The Chiefs are resting all of their players because Carson Wentz is playing. But hopefully they sit him or something, and then I can post this graphic. But when you see it posted, make sure to retweet and like it as well.